Welcome to the Make Vegas Pay podcast presented by MVP Consulting. It's Friday, February 17th, and we are going to talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 57 was sweet. It was a scoring fest. Good broadcast by Fox there. I guess we won't be seeing Greg Olson next year. We won some good money too. Halftime show was great. Shout out to Riri. The commercials were not that good. Solid game, though. I really did enjoy it. But, fellas, how were we feeling about the Super Bowl? Swice, what were you up to?
Yeah, I was actually at a bar. As you guys know, I have the 5 TVs set up, but not really conducive to watching. My living room's kind of a mess. So went with one of our other team members to one of the oldest sports bars in Charlotte. Got really hyped. They turned the lights off with Brianna at halftime. She was fantastic. Unreal game. Was in the lab cooking Saturday and Sunday at our office, just grinding on stats and stuff. So really pleased with the day, the Super Bowl, Rihanna's halftime show. And then the commercials were okay. I couldn't really hear them that much, but got good food, drank a bunch of buckets of beers I usually don't drink during football. And yeah, great way to close out the season. I fucking loved it. Well, Matt, what do you think?
It was good. I mean, everything about it was good. I was down in Tampa. My girlfriend goes to the University of Tampa, so I was visiting her, and we went and stayed by some family that I have that are in Orlando, so not too far of a drive. And everything about it was fun. Good time, good food. Caught up with some family. Happy with the Super Bowl. Happy with the show. Made a lot of money. I know Tubi threw us all for a whirl with that commercial. That had everybody thinking the TV, that was funny as hell. So, but no, everything about it was good. Everything about it was good.
I like the Dunkin' commercial with Ben Affleck or whoever it was.
Yeah, Tubi was good. Crown Royal and Michelob. We'll get into those in just a little bit. My Super Bowl Sunday, I think, was great. I decided to make buffalo chicken dip. I was invited to my friend's Super Bowl party, and I know that's like the GOAT dip right there. We did Super Bowl squares. I've been watching the Super Bowl for about all my life now, which is 28 years. Never won Super Bowl squares until the game was 14-14, I believe, at the end of the second, at the end of the half or something, or 24-14.
Yeah, it was 24-14, yeah.
I had 2 fours on my Super Bowl squares, won me a nice $20, and I couldn't stop saying, "Tom, to come bring me my money." Oh, it felt so good to win that. And then Rihanna's halftime show was amazing. A lot of good food. I definitely got really drunk during the Super Bowl. So some of it was hazy. I just kept looking at my bets, thinking about winning money, and just going back and forth through that. So, again, a great time. But, Matt, I got to ask you right now, what was your favorite part of Super Bowl 57?
Favorite part? You talking game?
Overall, game, party, halftime, whatever you think.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of either team. I'm not going to say the halftime show because that's just cliche.
Commercials,
honestly,
maybe?
No, honestly, it was. I wish I put money on it, but you guys said MVP, teach me not to be a degenerate. So I did not bet on the Gatorade color. And what do you know? Andy Reid got purple pouring down on him, and I would have been.
We did talk about that.
That was what, plus 900? That would have been. That's my favorite part. That I was right on it. I just didn't cash in anything on it.
Swice, what was your favorite part about the Super Bowl? Could be the game, the commercials, maybe what you had for food, anything.
Yeah, just the game, man. I mean, Mahomes gutted it out on the ankle with just so much scoring. Just got to see Kadarius Toney, some of these players. I mean, I've been watching every game this year, so just to see it come to an end and my prediction about the Eagles kind of being frauds a little bit with their schedule and stuff that I kind of went off on last week. I couldn't ask for a better ending, and yeah, they threw the flag at the end there. But Mahomes' performance, Kelsey, the coaching of Andy Reid on a couple of those plays, just a great game overall. I mean, you can't ask. That's going to be one of the best Super Bowls I think for a while we'll have.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely loved seeing all those points go on the board. I think the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a federal holiday. Everyone should have off of work, and also Valentine's Day should not be that close to the Super Bowl. They got to move that somewhere else.
Trace? I've been saying it for a while, and I'll bring it to the podcast. I'm not a Thursday night football guy. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's always 9 out of 10 games are an awful product. And I have a very simple solution that I don't think there's a single person in the league, owners, commissioner, players, that would hate it. Give it a 19th week. We already extended it 1 week. This season was the first year we did 18 weeks, right?
No, last year.
Last year. All right. So we extended it to 18. Extend the regular season to 19. You give every team a second bye week, and you play your Thursday night football game after one of your bye weeks. That way, no players ever play on short rest. They never don't get treatment. They have time to actually study up on a game plan, and they're not only getting a walkthrough to play an NFL game, which is pathetic. Everything about it's better. And what does it do? Pushes back the playoffs a week. And what does that do, Drace? It pushes the Super Bowl back to the Sunday before President's Day. Boom. You get the Monday off. We don't have to do anything to the national calendar. Nothing. I'm a genius. I know.
They would actually push it to after President's Day. Be a week later. Week 19. You add another week plus the regular playoff schedule. You just add another week. So it would have been this Sunday, which would have been President's Day weekend. NBA All-Star this weekend.
We might have to do the math here, and I'm not that good at math, but I think Matt's idea does make sense when you do push it back a week because you still keep that buy in there before the Super Bowl. But Swice, I do see what you're saying. I like that idea. I hope they do it because, I mean, what's a better holiday after the Super Bowl than President's Day?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So one last thing I do want to talk about here before we hop into some of these Super Bowl storylines are the commercials, right? You mentioned at the top of the pod that Tubi commercial threw everyone for like around for a doozy. I remember sitting there at the Super Bowl party. By the time the Tubi commercial came on, I was already kind of drunk. And I'm just pointing at the guy who's running this shit, and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, hey, fix it. And everyone's like, come on, fix it. And then it was a commercial, and I got bamboozled. Then the next commercial I really enjoyed was the Crown Royal commercial with Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters about Thank You, Canada. I learned a lot about Canada, but I was also drunk, so I can't remember a lot about it. And then also the Michelob Ultra commercials with Tony Romo. That was just amazing right there. Simple, really good, fun in taste. Top 3 commercials right there. Swice, what kind of commercials were your favorite?
Yeah, the Dunkin' commercial. I mean, being from Jersey, I'm sure Matt liked that one too. It was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
That was one of them. The popcorners with Breaking Bad, and Tuco or whatever his name was in it was so funny. I've had popcorners for a while there. The Farmer's Dog commercial, super emotional, but great commercial. And Tubi, obviously the bar was like thrown off for a loop, so that was pretty funny there. But those are the ones I remember pretty well. I had to rewatch the next day because I was drinking buckets on buckets, just like you, Drace. So it was it was a long evening.
Matt, your favorite commercials from Super Bowl?
Definitely the Popcorners with Breaking Bad, one of my favorite shows. The T-Mobile one, I forget who was the main character in the team. Oh, John Travolta. They brought him in. That was good. I'm trying to think. Duncan was good. What was the beer that brought Miles Teller in? Bud Light. It was the Bud Light commercial with Miles Teller. That was good. There was a lot of them. I think I'm mistaken, but did we get like a Clydesdale Budweiser commercial this year or no?
I don't remember one.
I don't think we did. And that's normally one of my favorites too. I'm a sucker for animals, so. But yeah, no. But those were my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. We had a great game. We had solid commercials, not the best commercials, but I'd rather have a better game than better commercials. So let's get into some of these Super Bowl storylines here. Mahomes, Mr. MVP Mahomes over here. First QB to win the regular season MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same season, at least for a really long time or ever. What does this do to Mahomes' legacy?
Yeah, I mean, he's like 27. He's got plenty of time with Andy Reid. You know, they're paying him a lot of money, and they're able to surround him. Like, they draft well. The Chiefs, just well-run organization. They play in the AFC, which is the tougher conference. They'll be here for a while. They have some cap stuff, but, like, if they continue to draft well, I think he'll get to like 4 or 5 Super Bowls total. He's cemented his legacy at this point as one of the all-time greats, and he's only 27. But that second being 2-1 in Super Bowls versus 1-2, coming back from 10 points in both of those. He's great at coming back. Andy Reid with his play calling is unreal and helps him out a lot. But Mahomes, man, I love watching Mahomes, and I'm excited for another 10 plus years of him playing quarterback. It's just fun to watch. He's a good guy too. His family's kind of annoying though, but different conversation.
No, the family's absolutely very annoying. Yeah, can't stand.
He was hammered.
Brother.
He was drinking Coors Light at the parade. I want to drink some Coors Light this weekend after how much he got fucking hammered from it.
No, I mean, I think it's in terms of his legacy. Yeah, you got to already put him in there with. All right, let's do our top 10 all-time quarterbacks. You really can't look over Mahomes already, and like Simon said, he's only 27. As a diehard New England fan, gets me a little worried if he's ever going to be able to top Brady. But we'll see. They're gonna stick around. I think the Chiefs are the new Pats. I think we're gonna look at probably a 10+ year string of divisional games, AFC Championship games, and Super Bowl appearances out of them. I don't know. I think it'll be it'll be fun. You're already starting to see the fans turn on them. Everybody wants a new face, and they get stagnant. Everybody hated New England, and whether it was the cheating or whether it was Brady, you hated them because they were always good and always there. And it's already starting to happen with the Chiefs. So I think it's just going to be that way for Fumer years to come, and it's awesome to watch. Mahomes is phenomenal as a quarterback, and watching him stay calm and collected, it's wild.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely great. He's amazing on the field. He can really do whatever he wants on one leg too, on top of that. And we'll get to that in just a second. But I mean, what you're saying is the road to the Super Bowl from the AFC runs through Kansas City now. So we're not going to overlook that Bengals lost by 3 points. It's not Burrowhead anymore. It's solidified as Kansas City, Arrowhead, Patrick Mahomes. We're going to overlook the Bills. I mean, it's still going to be a very tough conference, but I think you're right. They have the edge. The Kansas City went out there after their O-line got decimated by Tampa Bay about 2 years ago, fixed up their O-line, put everything together. They still have Andy Reid as their coach, and we'll see how long he stays as a coach. If he wants to be a Belichickian type of coach, he's got to stay there a little bit longer, probably coach into his 90s, I think. And then the question is of like Eric Bieniemy being there, the offensive coordinator, really working with Mahomes, but still not getting that head coaching gig.
He's not there no more, Drace.
Yeah, I think he's going to Washington. We just got the news a couple.
It was like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Right now, I saw that they did offer him the OC job. The Commanders did. I didn't know if it was breaking news for him to actually go there.
It's an assistant head coach / offensive coordinator.
They'll be fine. The Chiefs will be fine.
I think they will be too. That means Matt Nagy takes a step up maybe into that OC position, and he didn't do a really good job in Chicago, so we'll see how that changes. But Eric Bieniemy not becoming a head coach, but just the OC of the Commanders, he must be the worst interviewer ever because he's had all these head coaching interviews, but like kind of nothing to show for at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's doing being an assistant head coach. If he hasn't proven himself by now with what he's done with the Chiefs, then yeah, it's got to be something on his end. There's got to be an organization that's willing to offer it to him, and he's the one messing it up at this point.
Spice, when you hear the name Eric Bieniemy, like what kind of goes through your head in terms of coaching wise? I mean, he's been able to show that he runs a high powered offense. But like, can those skills really translate?
I mean, he's got one of the best quarterbacks of all time and one of the best offensive play callers ever. And Andy Reid on those like 2 third downs. I mean, he had guys wide open, like the corn dog, whatever he called one of them. Like that's what I was saying last week is that when it comes down to a Super Bowl in a close game, like last year was McVay and Stafford. Like the coaching and quarterback really makes a big difference, and experience, right? We saw Cincinnati last year, no experience. Philadelphia, very close teams. And that's what helped me kind of with my bets, just knowing the Chiefs had been there. We knew their defense was kind of flawed, but they picked apart, the Chiefs on offense. Credit to Bieniemy, but also credit to Mahomes and Andy Reid, I know, was involved with some of those big play calls. So we'll see how he does. I like him with Ron. I think it would be a good fit, but I don't think he'll be a head coach.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. We'll see how this news shakes out. But, we're talking about Mahomes here. Again, he's going to have a great legacy. But Jalen Hurts, sheesh. Three rushing touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, a fourth down conversion. The octopus, he did get it. And he had a passing touchdown as well. And also that fumble 6, which we'll talk about. But I mean, Jalen Hurts showed up to play in the Super Bowl. What really inspired you about his play, guys? Swice, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. That 4th and 1, they've been all the Colin Cowherd I watch, everybody's been talking about it. Like, it's unstoppable with that line and him, and he's just I know he squats like a lot of weight too. I remember Chris Jones came on one play, jumped over the top. I don't know if you guys saw that, and he still got through him. Like, it's impossible to stop that, but Jalen's a great guy. I know he has like an all-female like marketing or legal team. He played a hell of a game. It was not his fault. The defense did not show up at all. Now they've lost both coordinators, which is interesting. We'll see how Sirianni does. But mad respect to the man. Definitely putting him in my top 10 quarterback list now. He does have great weapons, but he's proved it, man. He's earned it. I mean, he was going against Mahomes in Mahomes' 3rd Super Bowl. So he did everything he could. I'm not going to put the blame on him for that loss.
Matt, watching Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl, what was going through your head there?
It's time to give him respect. It's time to put respect on his name. Too many people try to Lamar him almost. He's a running back. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's an NFL quarterback. He's an accurate passer. He can run the ball. He can run an offense. I mean, I don't know. You don't go to Alabama, and he had his difficulties in the championship games there, but you don't go to Alabama and run shit in the SEC for 2 or 3 years, and then pick up your things, leave, go to Oklahoma, pick up a new playbook, and run shit there for a year without being good. He's a good quarterback. We got to put respect on his name. He made one mistake, and his defense couldn't bail him out of it. That's bottom line is he, he had to be perfect to win that game when you're going against Reid and Mahomes, and he wasn't perfect. He made one mistake, and it was a big one. But again, just like Swice said, no blame on him whatsoever. Am intrigued to see what happens with them as a whole with coordinators gone. I think it's going to be a little bit of like I'm not sure what the word is, but I think it's going to tell us more about Sirianni than it's going to tell us about Jalen Hurts, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, well, they also have like free agents and stuff, and they'll draft well. They usually do, but they're going to have to pay Hurts soon, and they run into the Kansas City situation where like they had to lose Tyreek Hill, but they were fine. They got cheaper guys like Valdez-Scantling. Juju had a nice game. Travis Kelce, they're paying a pretty reasonable deal, and they had a lot of rookies that they drafted well. So Howie Roseman in the front office needs to continue to draft well. And yeah, I mean, they found their quarterback in Hurts, and if they could keep Minshew behind him as the backup, I think that'd be good. He's a cool guy. I would definitely get beers with him. But other than that, he's a great backup quarterback and a good guy in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the stats here, I mean, Jalen Hurts, 27 for 38, 304 passing yards, 1 touchdown through the air. He was sacked twice. Got to tee it up to the O-line, but the O-line still played phenomenal, even just giving up those 2 sacks. I mean, you had to play perfect, like near perfect, just to beat Mahomes there. And then he had 3 rushing touchdowns and the long of 28. He was the second leading rusher behind Pacheco, who had 76 yards to Jalen Hurts' 70. So, I mean,
I don't know what happened
phenomenal.
to Miles.
Yeah, he played phenomenal. What did happen to Miles Sanders?
No clue.
I was on all of his bets, and
it was the Kenneth Gainwell show.
Yeah, I don't know I think he got injured or something. I don't know, whatever. Running backs just killed me in the playoffs with props. I know Matt knows that. Running back receiving yards, now Miles Sanders. Like, the running backs were not good to me. Travis Kelce was good to me all playoffs.
Swice and Dre, what do you guys take? I think think Travis said it on the New Heights podcast with him and his brother. What do you guys think about Hurts winning MVP even with the loss? I genuinely thought that it was a very viable thing, and like people, nah, you can't give it to a losing team member. Nah, I mean, if we're looking at who was the best player in that game, I gotta say it was Jalen.
I think it's stupid when you give it to the guy in the losing team. I mean, he played better than Mahomes, yeah, but Mahomes did make the plays there, and they were kind of well balanced, the Chiefs, on what they did. I mean, they got a defensive touchdown from Bolton. You know, if anybody, I don't know how many tackles he had, but he had a fumble recovery, which was a very high play there. I mean, I see what you're saying, but he played better than Mahomes. You're right.
Yeah, that's a great question, right? Because I had the same thought watching the game, a couple of Bud Lights deep, couple of Jello shots, maybe a couple shots. Anyway, I was kind of just drunk watching the game, but all I knew is that Jalen Hurts played phenomenal. Like, I was sitting there telling people at the Super Bowl party. Yes, I was that guy. I was telling people at the Super Bowl party, like, Jalen Hurts might be the Jerry West of the Super Bowl right now. Jerry West was a player in the NBA who's lost so many times, lost the NBA Finals, but still won Finals MVP. And I believe he's still the only player in NBA Finals history to lose the Finals and still win NBA Finals MVP. And I was thinking it was going to go to Jalen Hurts, but let's be honest here. They're playing in State Farm Stadium. Mahomes is endorsed by State Farm, so you know he was going to win there. I mean, it was all leaning towards Mahomes. I think that was the only difference there. It was kind of just pushing the Chiefs to get that success. But I was on the same train and track of mind that you were on. But I mean, Mahomes just won the game, and that's just how it is in the NFL. You got to win, right?
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
So let's talk about
play
that.
to win the game.
Yeah, Slice, you're right. You play to win the game. Let's talk about that State Farm Stadium here. Let's talk about the grass specifically. A lot of slips there. We have the Mahomes injury, which did not look too nice. I don't know if that was the grass, but definitely aggravated that ankle injury. Jake Elliott, the kicker, on the kickoff, just completely slipped and like twisted his ankle. And then possibly the biggest play of the game, because, you know, we're all looking at Jalen Hurts for that fumble, but was it the holding on Bradbury? That maybe he slipped a little bit and tried to hold on because Juju just had him beat. So what do we think about that grass and all, seeing everyone slip across that field?
They had that for like a couple of years. I don't know that. Yeah, there's something with the NFL and the fields that's always an issue. Like NFL, Goodell, do a better job, man. Like, we could not have Mahomes and the kickers like slipping on this stuff. Figure out a system. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know. I just spent years doing this. You got billions of dollars to figure it out. Like, just figure your shit out. That's all I have to say about it.
Coming from someone who is going on year 4 of landscape construction, that was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. You are the NFL. You are the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of sports championships, World Series, NBA Finals, Stanley. You are the big show. I mean, your halftime has a freaking concert. You know, like, let's be real. They are the show, and they botched it on the biggest stage. I was genuinely like my landscaper in me was just. I was honestly mad with watching the game and watching the grass conditions. And I saw a take on, I want to say, Twitter, and it was, you know, of course, all the conspiracy theories, but was this done on purpose by the NFL to get everybody to, you know, to get players and fans to shut up about making all fields grass because of the ACL injuries? I don't know, you know, obviously I don't think Goodell and them would do that, but I thought it was a funny take that I'd share.
Yeah, so a little background on this grass. Don't know the exact name of the grass. I'm not into that type of grass. I'm not too deep in the trenches when it comes to that. But what I do know is that it was put together by the Sod Father. Basically, this one landscaper who's done every single Super Bowl. He's done a couple World Series. And this grass was genetically engineered, I believe, at Oklahoma State University. So again, they're trying to live up to the hype. But I think you're right there. That little wrinkle of conspiracy where they're trying to just keep all these players on turf and just saying that, hey, injuries can happen on grass too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I I mean, it was. I think I also saw a tweet. It was $800,000 the NFL spent.
Yeah,
just
I'm with
for
you on
that.
this conspiracy.
Yeah, that grass. I just don't get it. I don't understand how it's that bad. I saw I forget which podcast it was. Maybe it was McAfee. It was somewhere else. I saw that the grass was only bad because the stage at halftime produced so much condensation and moisture from being compacted down that it became wet when people were slipping in the first half. I think it was Jalen Hurts. He changed his cleats going into the second quarter. I think the broadcast showed. I don't know. Just as a whole, pathetic, absolutely pathetic by whoever the grounds crew of the NFL was. That was a big botch job by them.
Yeah, a lot of Eagles players did change their cleats during the game, but no Chiefs players changed their cleats. Little weird to watch when it's State Farm Stadium, who also endorses Patrick Mahomes. But we could talk about that all day. Let's talk about a little bit more legacy talk as we move through here. Andy Reid, I mean, coached that game phenomenal. And Nick Sirianni, you got to give him credit. He's still a good coach, but Andy Reid just had the deepest playbook. He pulled out a play that hasn't been seen in over 30 years, which I think was called, what was the name of that play called? Corn on the cob?
Corn dog.
Corn dog, where he had the two backs in the backfield lined up in the 3-point stance, and then the run went to the left side of the field. And then I think they just converted on that 3rd and 1 with Pacheco. I mean, Andy Reid's coaching, like when you guys were watching the game, what was going through your head when you were seeing Andy Reid just pull these tricks out of his hat?
Yeah, I mean, Andy Reid off a bye, like this is why you got to look into these stats. Like he's a great coach off a bye, extra time. That's what I thought would be the difference. And they had a 3rd and 3 and a 3rd and 5 in the red zone. And they converted 2 wide open passes both times, 2 touchdowns there. They could have been headed to field goals, and the Eagles win the game. But coaching and quarterback play really does matter, and especially when you have a coach that's been there he's been coaching for so long against his old team. I just thought he was magnificent, and he's a good guy. I know he got a burger on Monday at his burger spot. They just have a great culture and teamwork. Just you can't really hate him. Belichick's kind of a hateable guy, but Andy Reid is just a fun chill guy. Belichick's just an asshole. Sorry, Matt.
You're not wrong. I mean, the dude's an ass, but he wins. I agree with Slice. You can't really hate Reid. Big Red, whatever you want to call him, mastermind inside the 10. At goal to go, you need a 4th down conversion. If you're within 10 yards and I'm picking one guy to call my play, I'm going Reid. There's no other acceptable answer in my book. When you look at his pre-play movement, I think, if I'm not mistaken, weren't the Chiefs in a wrong formation on one of those touchdowns? I saw a clip of
Possibly,
Mahomes.
yeah.
I saw a clip of Mahomes, and I want to say it was maybe his quarterback's coach, or maybe it wasn't Eric, so it wasn't the OC. I forget who it was, but he's they were freaking out on the sidelines because they couldn't believe that they were in the wrong formation, and it still worked out more than just fine. I couldn't get over how wide open those 2 touchdowns were in the flats.
Yeah, those were wide open. But I mean, now we're talking about Andy Reid. He beat his former team, which were the Eagles. He made it to the Super Bowl in 2004 with Donovan McNabb, Syracuse alum, and they lost there. Maybe it was because Donovan was drinking a little too much, but Andy Reid coming back to beat his former team, a team that he watched, gain all that glory in 2017, I believe, when they beat the Patriots. Sorry, Matt. But if I'm Andy Reid, I feel a little bit accomplished with what I've done, and there's still many, many more years to go. But let's talk about the Kelsey brothers here. Just great showing from both of them. Jason on the O-line was playing phenomenal. I know everyone was expecting a touchdown out of him, but Travis got that one touchdown there. Anytime touchdown scorer, boom, cash it out. But in terms of the legacy now, Jason is retiring, but what do you see Travis doing? Is he going to stay? He's going to repeat? He might retire, which is what Blay was saying on last week's podcast. But Swice, let's start with you on the Kelsey brothers.
Nah, I don't. I mean, they're cool, man. Their podcast is great. Their mom, that was all funny there. Both, 2 of the best of their positions, you could say, of all time. I think Kelsey's now second to Jerry Rice on postseason touchdowns. I think he keeps playing. I think he loves football. If you saw him at the parade after the AFC. Like, he just loves like the game, and he doesn't look like he's diminishing in talent at all. Still with the greatest quarterback in the league right now. So I think he'll play another. I think his contract's through like 2024, 25. So I think he'll play through it. I think he's having fun, man. Like, he's gonna miss it if he leaves. Gronk was like injured when he was playing. I don't think Kelsey's been like that injured. And he knows the quarterback and coach that he's with. So, yeah, I think Kelsey goes a few more years here. And Jason's had a hell of a career. He got his Super Bowl. So, great player as well. And both, overall just fun, cool guys.
Did Jason officially retire?
Yeah,
I don't think officially.
Unofficially, I don't think he signed the paperwork yet, but I think he's definitely on his way out. I mean, he's been in the league for a while now. He's already done so much for the city of Philadelphia that I think this was just his last run. Like, I don't see him kind of getting up and playing some more. I mean, we'll see, but now it's a different team. The Eagles don't have their OC or DC. They got their coordinators out of there. It's going to be a little different.
No,
and
you're not wrong.
The schedule. Let's just talk about that for a second here, right? I was talking about it all last week, all right? They go through the list of the quarterbacks. Like, if we talk about it in college football, right? Like Cincinnati, they didn't play in anybody, but then in the NFL, it's irrelevant. Like, no, it's not irrelevant. They have played the Giants and Josh Johnson and McCaffrey. Like, that is a different beast going against Mahomes, and they hadn't really played a quarterback even close to his caliber because of the NFC quarterbacks in a very long time. Just keep that in mind next year when you're betting on the playoffs, is what the schedule has been, because we talk about it in college football, but not enough in the NFL, and it made a little bit of a difference there. They could not stop Mahomes. So, best defense in the league, we've been saying all year, getting sacks. Didn't get a single sack. The Chiefs' O-line was underestimated for 2 weeks, and they had paid for that, and they crushed it. No sacks, no picks. Not as good of a defense when they play a quarterback of that caliber. Sorry for the word.
You got the close game you were looking for. No overtime, but you did get the close game there. Let's close out a little bit of the Super Bowl talk before we talk some about our bets and some of the numbers we had too. I really want to jump into that holding call on Bradbury there. The real game changer. I was just surprised that the first thing he did was just to come out and just say that, yeah, he did have to hold there and kind of put some more blame on the grass. But, like, when you guys are reading the news on that and seeing that, like, what goes through your head? I mean, it just feels like such a routine play that there's holding on every single play.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about it all week. Yeah, I mean, he came out and said it, and Sirianni, they're a classy organization, but their fans are crazy and are blaming the refs. I mean, you can't blame the game on one play. Yeah, they would have got the ball back. In my interpretation of the rule, yes, that is a flag. But we already knew that going into the game, that they threw a lot of those flags. The back judge I talked about last week throwing flags. The Eagles fans, don't blame the whole game on one fucking play. Like, you guys lost the game. Get a fucking sack or an interception. That's all.
So I'm different from Slice. Slice and I had a phone call the night of the Super Bowl, and is it a hold? Yes, it is. Should it have been called? Abso-fucking-lutely not. They didn't call it all game. Wow, that was wow. They did not call it all game. If you look, I think it was like NFL Films or the mic'd up. There is a blatant hands to the face on, I want to say, the Chiefs left tackle on the Eagles edge rusher, and it is it's clear as day, and on the same play. So should it have been called? No. It was, in my book, one of the best Super Bowls of all time until that moment, because you go from giving Hurts and the Eagles a chance at like a legacy drive moment to take down Reed and Mahomes and whatever. Even if they don't, you get to see. You get to get Simon in his overtime. Get
the next year.
You have a chance to just give it an awesome ending, no matter what. Whether the Eagles drive down and score a touchdown, a field goal, whatever it was, the ending would have been 100 times better than watching Mahomes and Jerick McKinnon slide at the one and Mahomes take some kneels for a field goal. I don't know. Was it a hold? Yeah. Am I glad the Eagles admitted and are not making excuses? Yes. It makes it way easier on them. It doesn't give haters a chance to laugh at them even more. But if you're not calling it the whole game, there's no reason you should be calling it in the final 2 minutes of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Speaking
great
of
play by
haters, it was
What
a
was
great
that, Jace?
play. Speaking of haters, though, we have Juju Smith-Schuster sending out that tweet on Valentine's Day. It said something about like I'd love to like hold you or something like that. With a picture of
I
James
hold you when it
Bradbury.
matters most.
Yep, I'll hold you when it matters most. And then AJ Brown just shits all over Juju on that response. Everyone comes after Juju. I mean, Juju got clowned, but at the end of the day, he has a ring. So you can't deny that. I mean, so it's just him doing his little TikTok dances and along with Jackson Mahomes. So you got Jackson Mahomes, Juju, and Mahomes' wife, just the whole circus in Kansas City.
And then you got Kelsey and Mahomes, who's cool. I mean, he was pounding Coors Light. It's like, I want to drink Coors Light because he's just like, I just want to go to a parade and get fucked up and just like see the guys all like blacked out and hammered. One of the Chiefs linebackers literally got like jumped onto the bus. I was like, what a fucking legend.
What oh shoot, what were we? It went right out of my mouth. I was gonna ask you guys your opinion on something. We were talking about Mahomes and. Damn, it was good too. I wanted you guys' opinion on it.
The holding call, we got
we went holding Juju,
Jackson Mahomes,
Kelsey.
Damn.
All right, when it comes back, it'll come back.
Damn.
But at this point, for anyone listening, you are listening to the Make Vegas Pay podcast presented by MVP Consulting. So you can follow us all on our socials at the Make Vegas Pay handle. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube at Make Vegas Pay. And make sure to join our free Telegram there. If you want to talk about all sports betting or just want to jump into the conversation, go to the link in the description below onto our Beacons page, and let's make Vegas pay. So, all right, let's cut back here. I don't know if Matt remembered what he wanted to talk about. Let's get into the betting aspect because we do a lot of betting. I was on my degenerate shit during the Super Bowl, just yelling out picks and props and things that were happening or things that were missing. But let's review our exotic picks from last week. Let's start with the anthem here. Chris Stapleton had everyone in that stadium crying, especially Nick Sirianni, who had, Box had a great shot of Sirianni crying on national television. I believe you guys took the over, but took the over at 2 minutes and 2 seconds, which was at the time the line. The line later moved to about 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which then hit the under. But we'll still count you guys as the over. It was kind of crazy there. What did you guys think about the national anthem and kind of that opening sequence?
Sirianni's the meme of him just was crazy, but like just generally speaking, the bar, just seeing people get hype over a coin toss and fucking national anthem over, like that's one of the fun parts with the Super Bowl is that people are just betting on random shit and it makes the whole thing more exciting.
No, I love it. It was fun the moment he started. I'm sitting there with my phone starting the countdown. Even I'm at a family in my cousin's house in Orlando, and I'm sweating out the over. But I mean, I didn't actually put money on it. But no, like Simon said, I love that shit. It's fun. You get like you can either have an awesome start to your Super Bowl Sunday between the coin toss, national anthem, first kick to be a touchback or returned or not. Like you have some just degenerate bets that can either make or break your Sunday starting off the night. And I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, it was so good to just watch that. I was fading the public, so I did take the under. So I kind of nailed it there, guys. But let's move on to the coin toss. I think we all went tails never fails. It was heads the past 2 years, but it did break the streak.
Let's go.
Yeah. Of the team to win the coin toss would lose the Super Bowl. And that was the past 8 years. It was broken this year by Mahomes. Watching the coin toss, I'm sure you guys were stuck to your TV screens. Just tell the listeners what was going through your minds.
Yeah, we had talked about this, did some research, saw it was heads, did tails, and then, Chiefs won based off of that coin toss, I guess. Tails never fails, always use that in Madden. if you're listening and playing Madden.
No, it was, I mean, I was just watching it, sweating it out. Even, again, I'm sweating out bets that I don't even have money on. It's just just for the funness of it. But no, I mean, I'm glad that the streak finally got ended because it's going to be something else to bet on next year. Because knowing me, I would have to take the streak. No, it's not going to end this year. So I'm glad that it did get ended and lost. That way next year I don't have any of that juju to worry about.
Yeah. So, I mean, those exotic prop bets are always good every year. I can't wait to bet them next year. The first team to score, I think we all unanimously said the Eagles. They're always just quick to the punch there. No more to go through that. But let's talk about the halftime show. The first song for the halftime was Bitch Better Have My Money. And I think that was the best way for Rihanna to start that. Nobody accompanied her on stage. But let's take a minute here and talk about the halftime show. I thought that was a really great performance. Like one of the best halftime shows I've seen in a while. It's gotten a little boring over the past couple years, but Rihanna really blew the top off there in State Farm Stadium. Matt, let's start with you. I know you don't want to get into, the halftime show too much, but like just watching it after a couple RVBs, like what were you feeling?
No, it was good. It was a good show. It wasn't, like you said, there wasn't, I think it was like Katy Perry. She came out riding a dinosaur. There was nothing like stupid like that, or it was just Rihanna doing her thing. She had everyone in the world wondering if she was pregnant or not, which was very funny. The entire house was freaking out. It was good though. Great opening song. Had all the fellas hyped up. If you're straight or even if you're gay, you probably still thought that she was looking good. So I mean, it was a good halftime show and no complaints. No, nothing really negative to say about it. It was good.
I thought it was great. I've been listening to Rihanna all week since. Her songs are jams, man. She needs to get back on tour. Well, yeah, her being pregnant and so high up there was pretty crazy. The dancers in white was just crushed. I've been bumping her all week. She came out, like, was on top of that stage, pregnant, a lot of memes of that afterwards. She crushed it. I'm shocked she didn't bring out a guest. I thought she'd bring out Jay-Z. I think she played Run This Down or something. But the whole bar, like, got dimly lit. All the guys were just, like, fucking bopping and, like, just hype. So it was a great halftime show. She killed it. She should get back into performing, doing some songs. She's only, like, 34, 35, whatever. So, yeah, I love her. She's great.
Yeah, great halftime show. She hasn't performed in 7 years and still sounded great. I was getting a lot of flack at the Super Bowl party I was at because I'm like, oh, she sounds great. It's like, well, of course, it's Rihanna. And I'm like, oh, well, sorry, she hasn't performed in years. But great halftime show nonetheless. Now let's talk about the Gatorade. I know last week, I think you guys said, fuck it, put it on purple. I said clear, so I was wrong about that. But when you saw the purple Gatorade, or at least you saw the picture on social media that it was purple all over Andy Reid, Matt, like, we'll start with you. Like, what was going through your head there?
Bro, I started talking my shit. In all the group chats, and I went to last week's podcast and I clipped me and Slice saying, fuck it, let it be purple. And I wish I put money on it. It was like plus 900 or whatever the odds were. But no, friggin' Fox messed that up. How do you miss the dumping of the Gatorade on the coach? I mean, that is iconic.
They did great though, the announcing overall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Olsen and they killed it. But I don't know how you botched the Gatorade shower. But no, I think it was BR Betting that posted it, or I don't know, some betting account that my degenerate ass follows, and there was a picture of Reed getting dumped with the purple Gatorade. It was cool. It was funny. I wish I actually put money on it. I'll say that. Swice, what about you?
Well, I didn't put money on it either, but I know we talked about it last week and just kind of looking through the odds and stuff. I was like, yeah, fuck it, purple. So we just throw a dart there. But I had enough money on the game. I did really well on that, so was more focused on that, honestly. But happy to hit purple.
Of course.
Hell yeah, it hit purple. So, I mean, you're definitely right. Fox did a terrible job of covering that, but nonetheless, they did great. Greg Olsen, good job, but Tom Brady next year coming in. So let's get into some of the bets that were made by MVP Consulting here. The final score was Chiefs 38, Eagles 35, and the opening line was a pick 'em. The over-under was at 49.5. The line moved all the way to Eagles -1.5 and the over-under to 50.5 there. So again, still very close, but the Chiefs were the underdogs. So Matt, like what you saw them kind of talking their shit as the underdogs, but like what was your beef with that?
Oh yeah, no, that's what I wanted to ask you guys earlier. I don't have a problem with them being underdogs for the Super Bowl. I mean, Vegas is going to set the line at whatever they set it at. My problem is, like Travis Kelce after the game acting like, they were the 2017 Eagles that no one gave a shit about. You're the Chiefs. Yes, you lost Tyreek Hill. Okay. And you were still in everybody's, I don't know, top three, I would say. If you ask somebody before the season, who's your top 5 Super Bowl picks, I'd say 90% of the people would put the Chiefs at least in the top 3. I don't know. That's me. I don't understand the whole stop doubting. I don't know. I love Travis. I'm a big Travis Kelce guy, but I'm not a fan of the trying to build this we were underdogs and people overlooked us narratives when, let's be real, no one did.
Except Eagles.
Except for Eagles fans, grease the polls. But Swice, I want to turn it over to you now. I know MVP Consulting had some good recommendations out there in terms of bets, like the 2-leg teaser, Chiefs +7.5 in the over for 44.5 points. Nice 2-unit play there. You're very confident about it, but kind of what goes into your thinking when you're putting that together?
Yeah, shout out to Blade too. He had a great card between the two of us. We crushed the AFC and NFC and the Super Bowl, so ended strong. But wild card and divisional was a little bit rougher, especially the last day of the divisional. But yeah, I mean, I was cooking in the lab at our office for 2 days, really just grinding out all the numbers. For me, handicapping is not only our own system and algorithms, but understanding trends, angles. This was a big under ref, but I actually leaned the over after looking through all the stats, took the first half over as well. They had averaged 33 points combined in the first half. Also, the way the ref threw the flags, he throws a lot of defensive pass interference. These are teams that throw the ball, especially the Chiefs, a lot. So yeah, you got to put the time in. When you put the time in, usually have good results there. But the over 44 just seemed, with these two high-powered offenses with all the stats and data, pretty easy. And then the teasers, we've been doing them all year, and these same game ones usually have been going under. So glad we didn't do that. I was actually considering middling the two, but Chiefs at 7.5, in the Super Bowl, I was just the O-line's healthy. I think they're going to win the game. And then honestly, I sent out a live Chiefs 1-6 play. So shout out to the clients that took that live at +300 or whatever it was. But yeah, overall, there's a lot of time and research that goes into the plays there. Player props did okay, but yeah, we can go through more of the specific bets if you want. But that was kind of a high level overview of. We did really well overall. I think it was Matt, 10 units for the day with Blay and I.
Yeah, no, you guys absolutely crushed the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that live bet there too. So I remember getting the notification, and by the time I got it, I was a couple drinks deep, I'll be honest. And I'm looking at that notification, and all I could see was Chiefs winning. That was it. I was like, all right, I'm taking them winning. And the money line, I think at the time, was at maybe +135. But to take the Chiefs winning margin 1-6 at plus almost 300, +270, whatever you were able to catch it at, is just genius to have that live play to increase that value. Swice, kind of give us an insight at why you find live betting to be so important, especially in these types of games.
Yeah, so we look at a number of things. We actually work with a company that does a lot of live betting analysis, so shout out to them. But yeah, live betting allows you to see 1-6. We had been taking it pregame, but then realized as you get deeper into the game, you can still take it maybe at a little bit worse odds. So we look at momentum, possession count, the way the flags are thrown, and yeah, I mean the field conditions, right? There's a million things that changed kind of live, like the Mahomes injury. If Mahomes was out at halftime, they probably wouldn't have won that game. So this is why you should live. There's so many reasons to live bet, if you're with a capper that's just pregame betting, they're probably just lazy. And yeah, live betting is really where you can make Vegas pay, is because their lines, like, they don't have time to adjust like they do all week to see how the market kind of moves. It's like real time stock market trading there. And I feel like I can beat them at that game rather than a full week or 2 weeks in this case of that line moving. The Chiefs were also down by 10 at half. Could have got them at that point. But yeah, waiting always pays off. And then with the winning margins, you can still get them like late in the third quarter, early fourth at plus odds. So as the games get tighter there, you can see how many possessions are left. And those 1-6 winning margins really did like get us up a lot of units this year. I know they're riskier, but a spread is like between, 1 and 6. You're basically saying the same thing, right? Like the Chiefs, if they were plus 5.5, you're saying that game's going to end within 5 points if you're not taking a money line. And yes, it's less risk, but overall live betting is just, we're going to be doing it for March Madness, guys. So stay tuned. I'm going to be watching my 5 TVs, sending hedging alerts on pregame underdogs, lots of dogs. So we'll be hedging a bunch there. But overall, like, if you're not live betting and don't have a platform to do it on, please like reach out to us and let us know. I know there's some that are kind of laggy, or the odds are weird, or you can't watch the game live on it. So those are all things we use on our platform. So please let us know if you don't have a platform to bet on. And we'd be happy to set you up and make sure that you're A, being able to watch any game you want, and B, being able to get the best live lines in real time, because there is a delay with live betting. Also, last suggestion here, please only bet live during commercial breaks. You don't want to get screwed on some 70-yard play and then the bet gets processed and it was like, shit, like I got fucking crappy odds or some big play changed the game. So just be cognizant of that. Patience is a virtue, and you should always be patient, especially with the betting. So we're learning about the winning margins we learned all year, and next season we'll be ready to go, especially with those 1-6 at plus 250 and higher odds.
Yeah, I mean, this season we saw a lot of the winning margins. You guys were so sharp on that action there. But you're completely right. Like live betting, you're going to get the best lines. And even as we head into March Madness, those lines are moving all the lines. So you're going to make all the sense of it. You got your 5 TVs in the compound that you're ready to sit in front of for all of March Madness. It should be very exciting. I did have one last question for you, Swice, before we do kind of wrap up the show here. But, you could have easily just said, hey, you know what? I could just play it safe and just look at this Chiefs, Chiefs money line, take that live and just put it down. But instead, you took it a step further, looking at the winning margin. So when you have all these things in terms of momentum and everything that you're looking at, like what in yourself or in your processing says, you know what, maybe the winning margin might be the best here, or maybe taking this spread at this point might be best. So how do you figure out which is the best play at that given time?
Yeah, the company we work with is very helpful in that, but just really watching the game. And watch basically every game this year. So understanding where these teams are at. The Chiefs hadn't lost by more than 4 in 32 straight games, and they continue that streak. And just knowing these were the 2 best teams and the matchup, and to be candid, the divisional and conference championship games were not, and wild card even, there were a lot of blowouts and stuff. So there's that to it. And then, yeah, just generally speaking, the 1-6 we learned a lot about this year. It's definitely ballsy, but at plus 300 or plus 200, you only have to be right 1 in 3 times to break even. Plus 300 is 1 in 4. And everybody here thinks they can, be right more than 25 or 33% of the time. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's really hard to beat Vegas at their own game. They make a fuckload of money, clearly. They've been doing this forever. So the way we beat them is by live betting, is by hedging our bets. So we make money either way. That's what we do here at MVP. I love, helping people understand these concepts and, truly being able to make money. And I'm glad our clients had a fantastic Sunday if you guys pailed exactly what we took.
Yeah, I'd say they definitely enjoyed their Sunday. And again, thank you, Simon or Swice, for going through all that with us and giving us that valuable insight. Again, if you want to be part of the conversation and get valuable insights, just like Swice mentioned, join our Telegram. The link is in the description below. So, fellas, before we wrap up the show, let's just go into final thoughts about the Super Bowl. Let's wrap up the Super Bowl right now. Number one, I thought it was great. I'd love to see all those points. It's going to be crazy for me to now go a couple of months without football, but it'll be here before you know it. I'm just super excited for March Madness, and that's my final thought. Matt, up to you.
I thought it was possibly the best Super Bowl of all time until that flag was thrown. That is what I'll say about the game. Obviously, I have a very strong feeling on that flag. But no, just like you said, it's every bettor goes into depression after Super Bowl. So it is what it is. The countdown to the first Sunday or first week of September is on. But yeah, bring on March Madness. I need some just degeneracy running through me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know I've watched basically every game this year, so great way to end. You couldn't have put it out better other than that flag, whatever. But hell of a season overall. Learned a lot. I've watched even more football than I ever had in the past, but it was all worth it. We're going through a unit count for you guys, so we'll get that for the full NFL season. Transparently, by the weeks what we did, and yeah, it wasn't always perfect, but at the end of the day, we came out strong. And yeah, my eyes are definitely relieved. I got a month till March Madness, and I'm gonna take some time off of the screens there. I'm actually in Florida now, so get some golfing in hopefully.
All right, that wraps it up. Thank you, Swice. Thank you, Matt. And that covers episode 6 of the Make Vegas Pay podcast. If you enjoyed this and want more, subscribe to our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter with the Make Vegas Pay handle. The links will be in the description. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.